Throughout history, wars have been fought in the name of honor, freedom, religion, and survival. But behind every battlefield lies a darker story. Entire cities were erased. Millions of civilians became targets. Prisoners were tortured. And some of the worst crimes ever committed were carried out under the cover of war. In this timeline, we will journey through centuries of human conflict, from ancient massacres to modern atrocities. As the video progresses, the death toll will rise higher and higher, until we reach the most shocking war crimes and crimes against humanity ever recorded.
As empires expanded across the world, violence increasingly moved beyond the battlefield. Entire communities became targets. Villages were destroyed, civilians massacred, and ethnic groups driven from their lands. Many historians consider these events to be the foundation of the genocides and crimes against humanity that would later define the 20th century. The Congo Free State became the personal property of King Leopold II of Belgium. Villages were forced to meet rubber quotas under brutal punishment. Millions died from execution, starvation, disease, and systematic abuse. While World War I introduced industrialized killing on a completely new scale, mustard gas blinded, burned, and suffocated soldiers. Even survivors often suffered permanent injuries for the rest of their lives. The Nanjing massacre remains one of the most horrific atrocities of the Second World War. Over several weeks, Japanese forces murdered civilians, executed prisoners, and committed mass sexual violence throughout the city. In just 100 days, Rwanda experienced one of the fastest genocides in modern history. Neighbors turned against neighbors as hundreds of thousands of people were murdered while much of the world failed to intervene. As warfare evolved, so did the methods of suffering. Women were enslaved, cities were bombed, poison gas drifted across battlefields. The 20th century would prove that modern technology could make human cruelty more efficient than ever before. Millions of Ukrainians died during the famine of 1932 and 1933. The debate continues today over whether these deaths were the result of catastrophic policies, deliberate targeting, or a combination of both. Operation Reinhardt represented the industrialization of genocide. Extermination camps such as Treblinka, Sobibor, and Belzec were built with one purpose: mass killing on an unprecedented scale. For nearly 900 days, Leningrad endured starvation, bombardment, and extreme winter conditions. Hundreds of thousands of civilians died as food supplies disappeared and survival became a daily struggle. Some of the events you are seeing were not committed in the chaos of battle. They were planned, organized, and carried out with cold efficiency. Whether through mass executions, chemical weapons, or human experimentation, these crimes demonstrate how ordinary people can become victims when governments and military leaders abandon all limits. The bombing of Dresden remains one of the most controversial air campaigns of the war. Supporters argue it was a military necessity. Critics point to the enormous civilian destruction and loss of life. In a single night, firebombs transformed large parts of Tokyo into an inferno. The attack killed more civilians than many better-known battles and remains one of the deadliest air raids ever conducted. On August 6, 1945, the world entered the nuclear age. The atomic bomb destroyed much of Hiroshima within seconds and introduced a weapon capable of annihilating entire cities. By the mid-20th century, humanity had reached levels of destruction that previous generations could barely imagine. Entire populations were displaced. Millions were executed, starved, deported, or killed in industrial-scale warfare. And yet the deadliest chapter was still unfolding.